E 360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live. Also on Amazon Fire TV and to Twitch. Also Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna, producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. Jim, super excited about this week.
Yes, I am too, Donna, because what's that old song, You Need a Friend? Is that by, I'm trying to think of the artist who did that. You need a friend. We all need a friend, right? And you know, Donna, we're going to be talking about, this is Valentine's week, and it's a lonely time for a lot of people because they don't have anyone, and I understand that. And I've been there. You know, I think we've all been there.
Oh, absolutely.
And I tell the story when I went to Vietnam. For some reason, the only person who wrote me was my mother. And then when I came back, this young lady that I was close to or had big dreams about that never came through. And I'm glad they didn't. It probably turned into nightmares. Not saying anything negative about her. But she wanted to, reignite everything because her mindset was just, I just want to, live and enjoy life. And while you're gone, okay, you're gone. But when you're back, let's pick up where we left off at. And I remember looking at her and I thought I was invited to a house party and I didn't know she was going to be there. It was a setup.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I'm sitting there and ironically in my hometown, I'm at this party. And I'm looking at all these people and going like, who in the holy enchiladas are these people? I don't know 70 or 80% of them.
Right.
So I'm sitting out there in the hallway. We're in this big 2-story colonial type home where the party was. And I'm sitting out there on the bench and I'm drinking my beer and I'm just kind of like looking around, just, checking everything out. I'm not talking to anybody, anything like that. And then all of a sudden she walks in and I go, and it hit me, And then she saw me, and I was trying to get out of there. And she saw me. She came over and sat down, and she's acting, real, putting her arm in my arm and all that, and looking at me and all that. And the thing that went through my mind was that we're not even on the same planet.
Right.
And I made the excuse that I was going to use the restroom. And she says, hurry back. And I said, okay. But I went through the back door, snuck out, got in my car, and left. And I was so upset, ladies and gentlemen. I was just, angrily hollering at her in the car by myself. I wasn't calling her names or anything. I just, how can you do this to me? Try to put me together with cheap glue like that.
Right.
And truth of it is, sadly, I went down to South Carolina and I stopped at a place where they sell beverages. They also sell spirits, you might say. And I got baptized down there, you might say. I mean, I got bombed.
The spirits were heavy that night.
Oh, yeah. And I've been very fortunate in my life, very blessed in my life, because I drove back that night, and I really don't remember the driving. But, and I was very blessed like that, and I'm very grateful. But it's sad when someone just, treats you like that.
Right.
And the one point that I want to make, based on what we've been learning in Bill Heinrich's book, so many people, when they're lonely, how can I fix my loneliness?
Right.
How can I fix me? Never look inward. How can you fix someone else's loneliness?
Right.
How can you be a pal to them, a friend to them?
Right.
I mean, that's the first step, isn't it, Donna?
It is. This week is about Palentines Day. Kind of covers everything, right?
Yeah.
And we know that people, um, gosh, they lack companionship. They're have a hard time talking to people, or they don't know where to go. There's
Yeah.
all these things that make people feel really lonely. But
hmm
truly, one of the best ways is to just get out there and pour yourself into someone else.
hmm
You know, if you don't have anybody in your life, you know what? Join a group.
Yeah.
Join a group. I know I've heard on the radio there is a group, and it's single people, but it's not a mix-up group. It's not like a dating site. But what
Mm.
they do is they have hundreds and hundreds of events that you can go to, whether it's
Mm.
go visit the Grand Canyon, go to Spain, go whitewater rafting, stuff like that. That's a kind of a great group
Wow.
that maybe a person can get into,
Hmm.
because you find some interest in there. And then you find people that you can, pour love into. And when you pour
hmm
love into somebody, love comes back.
Yes, that's so true. Because once you love yourself, forgive yourself, and most importantly, and I feel sorry for ladies on this, because a lot of ladies, the guys out there, a lot of them, they're not in, where you find them. I mean, they're not really prime. How do I say this? Get me out of trouble here, Donna. Throw me,
Oh,
throw me a
I'm
rope
liking
now.
this, guys.
Oh
Go
yeah,
on,
oh
Jim.
yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, you guys, you stink. How about that? But some of them are, they come with so much baggage.
Right.
They really do. I mean, they got a divorced wife over here, an ex-wife over there. They got kids over there. Got bills over here. I mean, good gracious, it's and that's what a lot of ladies run into. You know.
Mhm.
Uh,
Well, and and to play devil's advocate, Jim, it can be vice versa as
oh
well.
yeah, oh yeah, sure,
You
sure,
know,
absolutely.
and
I pi- I pick on the guys because they can't,
right.
you know.
But the thing is that I dated a guy when I lived in another state,
Mhm.
and come to find out after dating him for 2 years, he'd been cheating on me.
Mm, wow.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Also found out he had a little, let's just say a little uh, family dispute violence on his record.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's bad news.
absolutely.
Because a
Absolutely.
guy, because a guy had hit a woman. I mean, that's about as low as you go.
Right.
I've been married 50 years, and there's been times I felt like, smacking my wife, but I just walk outside, and
And same
the
with
squirrel,
her.
and the squirrel will say, "What in the world sent him off? What did I do?"
you know but when you love yourself and are
Yes.
in that space
Yeah.
of pure love and energy,
hmm
guess what? That's
Yeah.
when things start aligning.
Yeah. Let's hit on that a little bit about what you said there about when you were with this guy for 2 years, and he was cheating on you and all that. The thing that really hurts is that the trust and the everything's just been just torn apart, just burnt. That's the
Oh
way
yeah.
that's the way he feels, just burnt. But for what it's worth, that is, in this case, that is his problem. It wasn't Donna's problem.
It was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, yeah. I
Be
was going to
honest with
say
you,
that. I was
it
going to
was a
say that.
blessing in disguise, because I look back and sometimes you got to kind of go, what was I thinking? you
Yeah.
know what was,
Yeah. If you're like me, like I was mentioning that other lady, yeah, I hope she had a wonderful life and all that. But to me, thank you, sweet Jesus. I missed that train.
right, right. That's kind of how I see it. Whew, that was close. That was
but,
close.
but at the
But
time, yeah, go ahead, Donna, please.
well, I was just going to say the fact that he was cheating on me. Well, how much does he dislike himself?
Yes.
Right?
You
How
got it.
much does he dislike himself? How
Mhm.
much is he not congruent with his own heart and his
Mhm.
own proper energy? I mean, that's
Mm.
honestly the basis of it right there.
Mm. Mm.
And,
Yeah,
like I said, I've said this before, I'll say it 1,000 times more, folks. I will not let anyone in my tight-knit circle, right, who is not in proper integrity.
that's right.
I don't care who it is.
That's right.
I don't care who it is.
I can vouch for that because, and when you're in there, you better behave yourself, otherwise she'll whack you. No, but really, I can say that about Donna. I have seen her because she says, "This is my standard. You must
Mhm.
live up to my standard, or I love you, but goodbye."
Right,
You know,
right. Then there's
love them.
nothing there.
Yeah, because that fits right into your harmony
Mhm.
of whatever in your life that's bothering you. It's either a person, a place, or a thing, and
Right,
you know,
right.
you know, it,
Absolutely. It really is. Because those are the things that block our energy.
yes, yes.
Had I stayed with him knowing that, it would have still been a block,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
right? It would have still been a block. And, it would have gone into the person and the place and the thing. It would have hit
hmm
all three of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And you would have been in an abusive situation.
Right, right.
And my daughter was in an abusive situation in her first marriage, and it got to be ugly.
Hmm.
When a father sees his daughter with a black eye, I mean,
Yeah,
that
that's
brings my blood to a boil.
brings out
And
the
then,
fight inside.
yeah, and then one day my daughter told me, says, "Dad, he said he's coming up here. He's going to kill me because if he can't help me, nobody can." So I got on the horn. I invited him to come up, and I promised him there would be a funeral, and I would arrange it. For some reason, he didn't show up because I was serious. I mean,
I know you would, Jim.
I headed up to here. Well, let's get more on to things about people out there. There was a list, and Donna, I think you got the list, or you sent it to me, or I sent it to you, or we sent it to each other. A survey was done of the top 20 reasons that people feel alone. I want to get
Yes.
into that. Number one, I am unhappy doing so many things alone. Oh my goodness gracious.
Hmm.
Especially when you go somewhere and you see, a couple that's happy.
Right.
Man, that just stabs you in the heart, It really does. And we've all been there. Nobody's immune to it.
Absolutely.
But, Donna, for the ladies out there, you guys suck it up, go home and cry to your mama, I'm just being a little facetious there, but for the ladies out there, what would you share with them? Because you've got a lot of experience in helping people with relationships and that sort of thing, please.
Well, you need to find number one, peace within yourself.
Hmm.
You have to find peace and love where you're at right now in the moment you're standing in. That's
Amen.
number one, in my opinion.
That's
Number
priority.
two, you know what? For most women, not all, but most women, we easily find friends. Okay, it's a female emotional thing. We can talk to each other and then boom, all of a sudden a friendship goes. But it's about finding like-minded people.
Hmm.
Finding people who fit in your energy space, who have the same interests as you, who are fun, who are upbeat.
Hmm.
Huge.
Oh yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Lots of groups out there, now, like the one I just mentioned, that are out there that you can meet up with like-minded people who have the
Yes.
same interests with you. And that is an
Yeah.
amazing way to have a really fun experience, right? And B, be around people who are wanting to have that same fun experience with you.
Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely, because that is so important. Because when love is flowing between friends and all that, it gets electrifying, and it just
Hmm.
goes and grows. It grows like a wow weed, really.
It really does. It really does.
Hmm.
So, that kind of also goes into not having anybody to talk to.
Mm.
When we don't have anybody to talk to,
Yeah.
it's been my experience. You have to look inward. Why? Why do I not have anybody to talk to?
Yes.
Right. So, am I just not putting myself out there to make a friend?
Mm. I like that. Or am I so focused on my problems I
Correct.
don't have time for someone else's loneliness.
Right. Right.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's a biggie.
yeah.
That is a biggie. So, there's that lack of companionship that kind of goes into the first one a little bit. Uh, but this one is, I feel as if nobody really understands me,
Oh boy.
right?
Mm.
So that can be tough because, I think we've all been in the situations, Jim. I know you have, I myself have, where we think we know somebody and we're comfortable with them and we
Hmm.
become really, really tight.
Oh yeah.
And then you tell them things, really private, personal things about your
Hmm.
life,
Yeah.
and it explodes like a bomb in your face.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, my advice is be very careful
Hmm.
in how well you know somebody before you start letting out the really
Yeah.
um, intimate, personal details of your life.
Yeah. My advice is simply to, if I tell this person something and they put it on Facebook, could I live with that? You know,
Right.
that's the best rule of thumb I can give you because uh, we both know, Donna and I have been involved with people, and both of them, I mean, they were deceptive and they were folks that would pretend to be the kind of person that you would like them to be. And really, their focus was on buttering their own bread.
Yep.
I hate to say that, but I mean, that's the pie that hit me in the face.
Right.
And imagine how, we know how you would feel if when it happens to you, because it's happened to all of us.
Right.
Nobody's immune to it. So that's why we love ourselves enough to forgive them, love them enough to forgive them, and let them go. As Donna says, a person, a place, or a thing. I mean, whatever it is, el mucho, el hadioso, and my broken el Spanisho.
One of the other ones, I feel shut out and excluded by others.
Oh, gosh. You talking
So,
about me again?
so to me, that means you're in the wrong group. If that's how you're feeling,
Hmm.
you have not found the like-minded people you need,
Right.
want, and deserve to
Mhm.
be around,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And I believe, Jim, and I know you do too, that people always come into our life for a season of time,
Oh, yeah. And for a reason, too.
seasons and reasons. And
Hmm.
some are there for a lesson, some are there to help you through something, some
Hmm.
are there for you to help them through something, and
Yes.
and then some stay a lifetime. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
there's those who've come into our life who are no longer really a part of our life, but they have forever left an imprint on our heart,
Yes. Yes.
a tender area.
I think about the friends that I've known over the years and 31 years in the military. Of course, back in the 80s, we didn't know anything about the internet or anything like that.
Right?
And people that meant a lot to me. They were my brothers and sisters that I served
Hmm.
with in uniform. And how I'd love to, talk to them again, see them again, see a message. If you see me on this show, hey, get in touch with us here at inspiration at e360tv.com. But my point being is that you just want to say thank you for being a friend. It's
Right.
like that song, Thank You for Being a Friend. That's a nice song, isn't
It
it?
is a nice song. And it's
Yeah.
also one that gets stuck in my head for the entire day.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, Don. But, it's really important to, like Earl Nightingale and Bill Heinrich talk about when you asked the universe of something, when you asked your energy, get out of the
Mhm.
physical, get out of the worry, get out of everything that's physical that you cannot control, let it go. And, what if someone just says, I'm looking for the right people in my life that I can be a blessing to?
Mhm.
Donna, in your opinion, what would probably happen there based on what you know?
Your life will expand.
Yes.
You will grow.
Hmm.
You will blossom and bloom because your energy has been manifested
Hmm.
and multiplied
And
in
when you
friendship.
share love, it comes back in abundance.
It absolutely does.
And
It absolutely
and
does.
whatever you ask, this is one thing that I've shared before, and I'll share it again. But this was hard for me to get my mind around, and that is whatever you ask of the universe, it's already yours.
Yep.
And Bill Heinrich talks about it in his book that we covered over the last 2 weeks, The 7 Levels of Truth. Bill's website, if you can see that there, truelifepurposenow.com, truelifepurposenow.com. He talks about it. Earl Nightingale talks about it in The Strangest Secret. Whatever you asked,
Right.
You already own it. I'm going like, wow. It took me a long time to shift that gear because I was stubborn and stuck in the physical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that will derail all of your energy, all of your efforts, and you'll remain in the same rut of life that you've been stuck in.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm.
So I think, in some ways today, it's easier, Jim, to form a friendship because we can reach out through social media
Oh,
and
yeah.
find
Oh, yeah.
these groups, right? Whether
Mhm.
you're a mom, so you want to join a mom's group, or
Mhm.
you want to get, you want to get in better shape, so you join a gym.
Mhm.
And usually what happens is when we go to a gym and it's the same time every day, the same people are always there.
Oh, yeah.
So look around. That's how you can find, a gym friend.
Mhm.
So many groups. If you're into politics, you can
Mhm.
join a political group
Yeah.
and meet your like-minded people there,
Or start your own group,
right?
something of interest to you, and invite others, just say, hey, I'm starting this group and I like to meet, one night a week or every other week or whatever.
Right.
And, you know, what's, that way you can custom make it to be your own personal thing. And
Absolutely.
it might be a group that someone out there is looking for a good group.
Hmm.
They really would.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. I mean,
So,
that's a blessing.
Jim, let me ask you something. What is the one thing that will get a stranger to open up that you do?
Usually a smile because that's who I am.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Because
Just
I'll walk
smile.
into Walmart and I'll see a total stranger. I don't care if it's male, female, black or white or whatever. I say, good morning.
Right.
Or
Right.
I might say something, Buenos dias, how you doing today? Good day to
Right.
be alive, ain't it? I'll say something nutty because that's my personality. I remember
Heavy on
one,
the nut.
yeah, and yeah, exactly, exactly. I remember one day I walked into Walmart and saw this guy, and I could tell he was a friendly guy. And I said, "It's a great day to be alive. It sure beats shaking hands with the Undertaker, doesn't it?" He
Right.
started laughing, you know. But see, that's who I am.
Hmm.
You're probably not like it, but everybody can smile, even if you just smile and
And nod.
whatever. Yes, but let it be the natural you,
Right.
because that's what people are looking for. They're looking for the real you. They're not looking for some phony.
Right.
Phonies are a dime a dozen out there.
Absolutely. Nothing like my folks are long since gone.
Hmm.
And I'll be very honest, I miss them dearly.
Oh
Right.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And when
Sure.
I go to the grocery and I see, how every now and then you'll be somewhere and you'll see somebody that kind of reminds you of someone that's already gone in your
Oh
life,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Especially some of the elderly women who live around my neighborhood and they
Mm,
go to the grocery. And I'll see them from behind, or I'll see maybe their hair or something. And it just, boom, it takes me back to my mother.
yeah. Yeah.
And, I am literally drawn to go up and say, hello, how are you doing? Or, oh my gosh, I love your hair. That is a beautiful color on you. You need to
Mm,
wear that more often. And
hmm.
it is amazing how much love and light hits their face.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, communication and being open is key to making new friends. So,
Hmm.
if you're a little bit shy, it takes a little doing, but one of the things to get more people in your life is get out of your comfort zone by
Hmm.
just being you.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And telling someone that that's a nice looking shirt, or I've told one guy, I didn't know him. He had on a real nice shirt, and I said, "Man, would you consider changing shirts with me? That's a nice shirt." And he started laughing. And it makes sure now with ladies, guys, be careful what you say there, because it could be taken the wrong way. But I mean,
Right.
always talk to a lady like you're going to talk to your mother. That's probably about
Well,
the best advice I can give you. Go ahead.
I'll give you an example. We both know Renee Perkins,
Oh yeah. Oh
right?
yeah. Mhm.
So the first time I ever met her, we were at an event and I was registering people when they came in, and I had
Mhm.
this amazing emerald green dress. And she
Mhm.
looked at me and we said hi, I checked her in, and she looked and she said, I mean, almost instantaneous, said, "That dress is absolutely gorgeous. And if I could fit in it, I'd take it from you."
Yeah, Dr. Karen Perkins, I tell you right now, Karen Renee Perkins, she is
She's
I've known her for
awesome.
years, and she is incredible. And the way Donna and I became good friends is that I gave her an obscene phone call.
Yes, he did. He crank called me. He did. He crank called me, y'all.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Because I'd met her, a couple. I'd seen her one time, and then I spoke at her event over in Scottsdale, and then the next time I'm heading out to Arizona, I said I got to give Donna a call because I just felt there was chemistry there as far as friendship there, and you go ahead and take it from there if you want
Well,
to.
I'm in my car on the freeway in Phoenix, which is no joke, y'all. I mean, we're the fifth largest city in the country. And I see this area code come up, and I'm like, I don't know anybody at that number. And I answer the phone. And I'm like, this is Donna. And this is what I hear on the other end. Well, hi, Donna. This is your long lost cousin.
Yeah. Hey, cuz, how you doing? This is your
Right?
long lost cousin. And
I'm like,
there was silence.
it was silence. And I'm thinking,
Who is
okay,
this number?
somebody's pulling something on me here, because I only have three cousins and two living first cousins. And I'm like, okay, no, you're not. Who is this? And that's how it all became.
Yeah. That was the beginning. And then I
Yep.
said, "Hey, Donna, this is Jim Grant." She said, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And I forget why I actually called her, but there was something, I'm sure it was something overly intelligent. I had to talk with her. You think I remember since those moments don't come out often with me. But Donna, in talking about being a friend, name one person, and I'm talking to the audience out there, name one person you could think of that doesn't need a friend.
Right?
Wow.
We
Instead
all
of,
need more friends.
yeah, instead of saying, I'm this, I'm that, remember I is singular. Nobody likes someone's caught up in the big three, me, myself, and I.
Well, and that's part of the communication, is
Hmm.
learning how to listen, asking questions that draws out whether they're your kind of people,
Amen.
right? So that's huge. Give compliments, draw out questions. How long have you lived here? Gosh, I just moved here a year ago. And you
Hmm.
know what? I haven't found a whole lot of friends yet, but I'm out wanting to meet new people.
Mm. Wow.
Invite people out for coffee.
Yeah. I mean, you may have whatever that you may enjoy. Did you invite me
Right.
out for coffee? You're pouring coffee over there, aren't you?
I am.
Could you, if I hand you my cup, will you handle it for me?
I'll fill it for you, buddy.
Oh goodness, that's just so Christian of you. But you know, and she ain't gonna charge me either. She'll
No,
she'll
it'll be
put it on
free.
my yeah, she'll put it on my account. On account ain't no count. That's what she'll do. But it's just amazing how when you look to how you can be a friend to someone else, that opens the door to love and abundance. Please
Right,
brand that into your brain. Because if you're looking within, you're going to remain lost.
right.
Everything is worth having in this life. You got to look on the outside.
Well, and one of the things that can be difficult
Hmm.
is working on negative traits,
Oh, goodness.
right?
I knew she was going to
So,
start talking about me.
So, sometimes, guys, when our energy isn't in a complete cohesive balance, the negativity that the garbage that we're carrying around with us will come
Hmm.
out. So
Oh yeah.
that's something that we need to be really, really careful of.
Hmm.
You know, um, I think everybody out there has asked somebody in their life, "Hey, how you doing today?" And then they tell you for 25 minutes everything that's gone wrong in the last, year, right? So be careful of the negative traits because,
Hmm.
we are filled in a world of
Hmm.
negativity.
Yeah.
And the last thing we want in our life is more negative.
Amen. Amen. It's like Bill says, if you're mad or angry, or upset about something, or something is bothering you, it's because you're stuck in the physical and you're looking for approval.
Right.
You're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You're imperfect, yeah, but that's where you love yourself enough to forgive yourself and then look for, the best in others because we all have our faults, we all have our
Sure.
shortcomings.
We all have
And
flaws.
oh yeah, yeah. And that's where the love covers a multitude of that.
Right.
And that's why it's so important to love yourself first, forgive yourself of anything that's been gnawing at you, and look for the best in everyone else and show them you're a person that loves them and cares for them. And I'll guarantee you that attracts people big time
Yep.
because you were talking about someone telling you what's going on in their life for 25 minutes. I asked a guy one time, how's everything going with you? I thought, well, I'm certainly not going to ask him that question again
Right.
because goodness gracious. And I joke around with people because people say, how you doing today? Oh, I'm doing great. We're all lying. We're all
Yeah.
lying. Okay.
There
I
are
mean,
days that we're not great.
that's right. And there's,
And you know what? Here's the thing. When you have a close friend,
mm,
it's okay to say, you know what? I'm having a really, really rough day.
sure, sure, sure.
Because I'll tell you what I do know. And this is something I teach in my high energy performance coaching.
Hmm.
You can express that and kind of just get it from here, your heart out.
Hmm.
Guess
Right.
what? It doesn't have as much power over you as when you keep it bottled in.
Oh, that's right. That's
That's
right.
So
That's
don't be afraid to just say to somebody, even if you don't want to talk about it uh, in detail, it's okay to just say, I'm not having the best day, and I'm
mhm.
trying real hard to get through it.
I've seen people even on Facebook just put a comment in. Please remember me or my family or me and my family. We're going through some tough times right now
Right?
because it's not important for anyone to know that you're going through tough times for someone to remember you in prayer or
Right.
to just be a friend and listen.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
just like Donna says, I'm having a real bad day and things are not going well for me, and I've got some problems, and just keep me in
In
your
your
thoughts and
thoughts.
prayers.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's all that's necessary. You don't need to share the details, and the
Right.
person who is doing that doesn't need the details because the senior in the sky knows all the details.
Right.
That's
And
all
I
that
would
matters.
say one of the other things, Jim, is refuse to gossip and keep your commitment.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Refuse to gossip. That's huge.
hmm, yeah,
That is a good way to lose
mm,
friends.
yeah. And I'll tell you something. If someone starts to gossip to you, just say, I'm sorry, but I don't participate in gossip. Even if you rub them the wrong way, because I tell you what,
They'll
if you
respect
do
you.
if you do not agree with them 100% and become a fan of their gossiping as far as their outlook on life, they're already going to be mad at you.
Right?
And that way you're not caught up in the drama, you're not caught up in the nonsense. You're not having to say I'm sorry to someone that you hurt their feelings, because if you hurt someone, it comes back on you. If the other person gossips and they hurt people, that's on them. It has nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the best
Absolutely.
advice I can give you, folks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they're going to do two things. They're either going to be mad at you or
Hmm.
they'll respect you for it.
Yeah.
It'll be one of the two.
Either way, you've dodged a bullet.
Hmm.
You
And
really
I
have.
think keeping your commitments.
Mm.
So, if you can't keep your commitment,
Hmm.
my goodness, give somebody enough warning.
Yeah.
Give them enough time.
My dad used to say this. He says, son, when you give your word to someone, make sure you keep your word. If you
Yep.
cannot keep your word, at least let them know as quickly as can and give them a bona fide reason and not some lame duck excuse.
Right.
Like, well, I'm sorry. They know you're sorry. You don't have to tell them that, you know. But that's something that's very, very important because no one likes to have someone to break their word to them.
Right.
It stabs them, and it's very, it hurts. It
Well,
really does.
it starts to break down the trust that you
Mm.
have been building with that person.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And, it's been my experience and probably most everybody out there that once that trust is truly broke, it takes a long time to get it back.
Oh, yeah, if it ever comes back.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that is so true.
Hmm.
On those list of things there, I'm trying to think what would be the next one on the list we could talk about there. I'm looking at the list here and
Sharing from your life.
sharing from your life. Oh, my goodness gracious. What do you have to share?
Right.
Think about that.
And how it relates to the other person.
Yeah, yeah.
That right there is key.
Mm, yeah. Because we were talking about in the last week before last thing, it was the 7 levels of truth about if there are 7 divine gifts that we each have. We just have them in different proportions.
Right.
And what gifts do you have, talents that you have that you can share with others to help improve their life?
Right.
Donna, this morning we had a little text conversation going back and forth about the 2 words, so what?
Right.
And you speakers out there are not going to like what I say. So you might as well mute it, mute me or whatever. But I've had a gut full of people who say, well, I'm a coach, I'm a trainer, I'm a speaker, I'm a
I'm a,
yada
I'm a,
da.
I'm a, I'm a.
I'm a. And you go to somebody's website and it's full of them and pictures and places with on stage and they got certificates and got all these things.
And
So
there's
what?
nothing with that if it's done in the right proportion.
Right, right. But I mean, I use myself as an example. When I was in the hospital after I had my heart attack and before I had my open heart surgery, I know all the doctors there went to medical school,
Right.
but no doctor walked in and says, I'm a graduate of Harvard Medical School.
Right.
I did my residency training at Johns Hopkins University. Okay, what? So what? I mean, is that going to help the blockages in my heart?
Right.
Because when that doctor came in, I want him to talk to me about, okay, this is what's wrong and this is how we're going to fix it. And so when you use that attitude, how can I help you in your hour of need?
Right.
They don't care about your credentials. Maybe all you got is 2 good ears and common sense. So what? That's what they need in their hour of need, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Guarantee you.
Right. It is important because I think as people, because we are an emotional being, like Bill says, we have a tendency to talk about ourselves, and that is ego based.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, an example. When I've done speaking gigs in the past, and I've talked about my brain surgery, I usually start out by asking a question because I had 3 brain surgeries. I also make a joke about it. But I tell you this, not for you to look at me in sympathy or in empathy, but because you may know somebody who's gone through some trials and tribulations in their life along the same lines and have been stuck. Now, there's a big difference between saying, well, look at me, my name's Donna Guinois. I had 3 brain surgeries. 3. I mean, can you imagine having 3 brain surgeries like I did in 14 months? Oh my gosh. It was crazy. I was like so scared. Big difference in the way that we word things. Big difference in the way we word things.
Yes, sure is, Donna.
And the energy is different.
Yeah, because when you're talking about yourself, you've reflected the energy into you.
Right.
And it's just a very worthless effort. It really is, because no one likes to hear that. And like Donna says, I know she uses, her sense of humor and all that. And I tell people, when I had a heart attack, I had a heart attack here back in October 29th on Friday night. And that night was what? Do you remember?
It was Halloween.
Halloween. I had a heart attack at midnight on Halloween. And I joke about that. And I said, you know what? I said, because one of my buddies asked me, did the Grim Reaper show up? No, he didn't show up. I said, I wasn't that far gone.
Right.
Excuse me. But, the reason why I share the things about my heart is the fact that about 75% of the people, I ask them, do you realize that almost 75% of the people were in the same boat that I was in? We had no previous blood pressure problems. We had no previous cholesterol problems, but bam, we line up in the ER and with heart issues. And, I had a heart attack, it was a mild one, but still. But my point being, you turn things around to ask people a question, share your life experience with them. And that's what they connect to. They really do.
Right. Absolutely. And it's the emotion. It's the emotion, and humor is a great way to get people to pay attention to your message in a way that they can understand.
I remember hearing, and folks pay attention to this here, a lot of people know what TEDx talks are. They're very common.
Absolutely.
Okay. The most watched TEDx talk has more laughs per minute than the funniest Steinfeld episode.
Right.
Think about that. People love humor. They want to laugh because they've been so engulfed in doom and gloom.
Right.
And when you're looking for a friend, they're looking for, someone that can, lighten their load. They're not looking for someone to bring their garbage in and dump on them.
Exactly. Exactly. And humor, it's a universal language.
Oh, yeah.
So Jim and I are a great example. Every now and then, if you've watched our show, he'll get me going and I start snorting and I can't stop. It's just a fact. I've always been that way. And I'll get to snorting and I literally can't stop. And then Jim is down for the count. And then it becomes not because what he said was funny that made me snort, but because I'm laughing so hard. And then I look up at him and he can't speak because he's laughing at me because I'm laughing. Well, snorting.
One time we had trouble ending the show. We're sitting there and she's snorting away and I'm giggling away. And
I think finally we got out. Bye, folks.
I think they pulled the plug on us, really.
And you know what? We've actually opened a show that way too.
That's her fault. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do. I'm the snorter. But that is just, it makes your whole day beautiful when you can laugh.
Laughter is a great healer on the inside physically.
It really is.
Some of the best medicine you can take. Goodness.
Yep. Laughter. And here's another one. If you're maybe feeling a little down, find a scent that is uplifting. Like if you like oranges, that's an uplifting scent for you. Or
Hmm.
maybe it's lemons or something along that. But scents, and that is huge in filling us up in a, oh, I like that.
Yeah, yeah. I never thought about that, Donna, but that's true because some people you like certain air fresheners in their car
Yep.
because it makes them feel better.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
if I lived the B300, I might get smart. You know, but only on a good day. But only if I got Donna there to to help me with the stuff like that because that's so true. Because some scents are very pleasing to you, just like some sounds, some
Yeah.
songs, some beats, and some rhythms.
Hmm.
And
So
treat
that's another one.
yourself. Yeah,
Ah,
treat yourself. That's important in it, Don, to treat yourself.
that's a big one. And I've talked
Mm.
about this quite a bit as, especially as a single mother. I never took enough time for myself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And in all honesty, there were some years that was dang hard to do. I was working 7 days a week. I was pulling nothing under 70 hours a week, nothing, as much as to 114 hours a week. God is my witness. So it was hard to take a little time to yourself. But when I learned that I'm important, I was a person, a woman before I was a mother. And, my children were older at the time, but I gave so much that it was just, I was kind of empty inside. And I
Oh
needed that
yeah.
time and that space to go off and just refresh my soul.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because you need some time for peace and quiet.
Hmm.
There's been times when I've wanted to get off to myself and shut my cell phone off and just say, I just want
Hmm.
some peace and quiet.
Yep.
And think about, for you animal lovers out there, I'm going to aim more at dogs because cats are more like, okay, you got time to serve me now? Okay. At least that's the way my world turns with cats. I don't know why. The little female cats look at me and say, this guy's no challenge. But think about how a dog can come up to you when you're sitting there in the quiet because the dog knows you
Hmm.
need some love.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. I have a Great Pyrenees, and he's not the biggest Great Pyrenees out there by any means. He's only about 85, 90 pounds.
Hmm.
And he's 4 feet long. So he's rather long, rather tall. And when, before I knew about my MS, and
Hmm.
then after I knew about it, I'm in like one of like 5% that will get seizures. And knock on wood, I haven't had one in over 5 years. But he would always know before I was going to have a seizure. He's
Mm.
not a lap dog. Thank God, because he's too big. But but he would always come and get right up to me and put his head really close to me, or put what we all call the peer paw, because Pyrenees are really about their paws in communication. And I would always know, oh boy, I've got a seizure coming on.
Mm.
Dogs are miraculous.
Yeah, but at least you had a friend there that cared enough about you to say, "Hey,
Yep.
I love you, and you're going to have a seizure." My goodness gracious!
Yep.
And think about how you can, have the heart of a dog when it comes to being a friend, because if you do that, you're going to have true friends because
Hmm.
you're looking without, you're looking outward.
Right.
If you're stuck in how can I fix myself? How can I find this? How can I find that? Whatever, you will always remain stuck there.
Right.
And most times, I hate to say it, but most times I feel like when we get stuck in there, that's when we have to put up with the muck and the mire and the trash of life.
Right.
Get
Right.
rid of that.
Let
Get
it
rid
go.
of all of that because you don't need it. It does not serve you.
Right.
Because if you look how to serve others, then you have the right to say, what serves me?
Hmm.
You really do.
And we're going to talk more tomorrow, Jim. This is your worst time, is when I tell you we are out of time, but we are going to talk more about this tomorrow.
I'm mad now. We're
I
out of
know
time.
you are, but you'll be okay.
I'll get over it. I'll dial a prayer after the thing.
Right.
But it's really amazing because we got that's easy for me to say. You want me to say it again? We're going to be covering how to be someone's friend. We're calling it Palentines Week. And let me get the thingamabob up there. And we've got to go, ladies and gentlemen. We're out of time. We've got another thing we've got to take care of. And most importantly, love yourself first. Forgive yourself. Then you can love others. Donna and I, we hope and pray that you have a wonderful day. We
Absolutely.
hope that you are blessed. You and your loved ones are blessed with health and happiness. If so, give thanks. And most importantly, be a good friend. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye, folks.